Okay, technically, this is going to be just a test. I have no idea whether or not this is going to work, or for right now, if it even is working, but we're going to go along with this with the idea that it might work. So, trying to make certain that everything is T's are crossed, I's are dotted, everything else on here. If you're just tuning in and watching this, it is just about a minute or so before 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We are back on with our scheduled sorry, pardon me, that was right there was a other system that we are not affiliated with. Checking in to see if we have everything working here. We've been offline for the better part of the last couple of months because we have had quite a lot of gremlins running through this system. So unfortunately, and hopefully again, all the antiviral software is up to date. I'm not sure. Again, hello News 12 engineering department, if you'd like to confirm that on there. We're coming to you live. Hopefully, if I'm not on the air on the web, again, please let me know, or if you can't hear me or if I sound weird, please give us an idea about that in the comments section. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onig. It is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time on the 16th of July, trying to just babble forward through this to make certain that audio and video is working on here. So making certain we've got, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, see how much of that delay is going on right there. So far, so good on that one. Okay, so as of right now, again, apologies if this is a little bit rambling, but we wanted to make certain that we are still on the air. We had to get, after our last crash, we had to redo the audio and the graphics and the camera system and everything else. So it looks like we are finally back to where we need to be on here. This is supposed to be our nightly weather blog, Weather Overtime, to where you watch, and if you have questions, you can drop questions into the comments section, and I'll do my best to make certain that I answer them if at all possible. But again, for right now, things are decently quiet. Hoping they stay that way. This is, again, mainly a test run. We'll go ahead and do some graphics here to give you updates on what is going on and go from there for tonight and see how long this actually lasts. We did make it to 95, 10 degrees below a record high temperature that hasn't been broken since 1980 in the Chattanooga area. 75 the low, that's 4 degrees above normal. No rainfall for today. And again, that is about 2 2/3 inches behind for the month of July. So it's been a decently dry month. Yes, we've had some pretty good amounts of rainfall, which is why this number is not higher than what we have seen over the course of the last couple of days and weeks. Thanks a lot to News 12 viewer Sheena Flowers from Chatsworth for a beautiful view of what is called a pileus cloud, or also known as a cap cloud or a scarf cloud. Kind of hard to see on this monitor here, but this area right above the thunderstorm rising into the atmosphere is pushing these ice crystals up and out of the way, and the sunlight coming over the top of the cloud is what you see here. That again is a kind of lenticular cloud where those colder temperatures, those ice crystals, help to refract that sunlight. So a beautiful capture. That's for our Shackleford Towing and Recovery weather window picture of the day. If you've got pictures, again, we'd love to see them. Go ahead and send those in to us at pictures@wdef.com. You can drop them to our social media pages. You can also, again, go to our website, wdef.com/photos. If you do any of these to get the picture into us, please give us a description and or a location if you would be so kind. But if you want to be anonymous, that's fine. But again, if you have information about where you took the picture and what you were looking at when you saw that, that would really help us out here at the News 12 Weather Department to tell everybody else about what it was you saw, so we won't have to make up something along the way. Heading out in the morning, if you're going to be taking the pupper for a walk, be prepared for a warm and sultry morning. You and the pupper will need some refreshment water when you get back in once again, so be prepared again for some pretty warm conditions and humid. Remember, when you're outside, they're wearing the fur coats, you're not. So make certain everybody gets and stays hydrated. Thanks to News 12 viewer Lynette Sullivan from the Reliance area for a view of cool pupper and very well-informed pupper watching News 12. Harley, that's our 1% lists Scenic City dog walking forecast. And again, this is where we see our puppers of the day on there. So if you'd like to know more about that, let's see. This is for CMO_prods. Welcome to the show, coming to you from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Southeast United States, North American continent, planet Earth, Milky Way galaxy. That's where we're coming from for tonight. And again, this is primarily for the area in and around Chattanooga, Tennessee. But if you have questions about weather nature out there, we'd love to know more about them. So if you have them, go ahead and ask them on that. We shouldn't see too much to worry about in the way of rain. We do have some thunderstorms just across our borders up to the north, where we are looking News 12 viewing area here, southeast Tennessee, western North Carolina, northwest, north central Georgia, and extreme northeastern Alabama. That is the News 12 viewing area right there. And then right back around the area from Crossville down to McMinnville, we've got a line of thunderstorms moving their way slowly to the east. All the storms along the line are going up to the north and to the east. No severe weather taking place, but some lightning from around north of I-40 at Crossville and all the way down to southeast of the Nashville area. And again, the line painstakingly slowly moving its way back over to the east as the storms along that line head up to the northeast, crossing I-40. So between Rockwood and Cookville on I-40, right on the plateau, you may be looking at some slow conditions thanks to the rainfall in and around that area. So please use caution up and around that particular location out there. But otherwise, things are quiet. Could be some thunderstorms lingering into overnight. The big thing is, of course, the temperatures. And over the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing just the same thing continuing. Not much of anything going to be changing anytime soon. We've got numbers again back in the 70s and 80s and even close to 90 degrees from earlier on, but it looks like some of those numbers have dropped. Powell's Crossroads, Tennessee, you're still at 87, 85 in Dunlap, and then back into the 70s around parts of the Appalachians east of Chattanooga. So not much in the way of good news where the temperatures are concerned, especially into the course of the next couple of days, where the Climate Prediction Center's short-range temperature outlook for the next few days is showing areas right back up around the Mid-South area, the Mid-Mississippi, and the western Ohio river valleys. That's where we're looking at well above normal temperatures into and around the area coming up for the next few days. Into the late 3rd of July, that is where we're seeing the hottest temperatures coming on through. And as of right now, this is going to be very much like standing next to a hot campfire or a hot stove. We're not going to get the bulk of everything here, but we are going to be getting on the hotter side back to the southeast of that, which is why the National Weather Service is in and around the areas just west of the News 12 viewing area, Middle Tennessee, Northwest Alabama, the roughly northern third of areas of Mississippi, West Tennessee, and through the Mid-South into eastern Arkansas. These are heat advisories. These are issued when the heat index is about approximately 105 degrees or hotter. And that, again, is where we start seeing some really dangerous conditions working or exercising too long into and around those areas where those advisories are in effect. So if you're outdoors with areas like this, with all that heat out there, this is where we're going to be seeing the worst of the worst. Now, could be these are signs of things to come. None of the News 12 viewing area counties are under this heat advisory for now. But again, that could change depending on what the temperatures are like, and we'll get to the 7-day forecast for you coming up in just a little bit. So for the rest of tonight, what we've got on the satellite picture is, again, those line of thunderstorms there. Winds coming in from the south, doing a good job of keeping things rather warm, moist, and stable. We've got a dominant area of high pressure out across the Atlantic and a weaker one over parts of the western Gulf of Mexico. Right in the middle of that, we've got, again, a possible new tropical depression, but as of right now, there's no sign of anything developing out of this. The National Hurricane Center has kept the odds of this thing pretty stable. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. But in the meantime, basically nothing is going to be changing. And as these areas of high pressure push to the north, all that, warm, moist air, stays all the way up, pushing these good possibility of these storm systems coming our way. Those are heading down to the southeast until these areas of high pressure push them all the way back to the north. So any relief from drier air to our north is not going to be happening anytime soon. So we're not looking at anything in the way of relief or change, for that matter, into the course of the next several days. So for tonight, we're looking at numbers high 60s into parts of western North Carolina. Everybody else, low to mid 70s, and not much better than that. Into tomorrow, low to mid 90s. Again, parts of the Appalachians might make their way into the high 80s. Likewise, parts of northeast Alabama and the Cumberland Plateau might see the high 80s only, in which case that'll be the coolest of the hot conditions out there, but not seeing anything else in the way of relief coming up. Need to mention this: over the next several days, there is the potential of, again, some rainfall out there. It looks like through the short-term forecast, the heaviest amount of rain goes all the way down to our south and to our east. But from these individual thunderstorms, tonight north of the Tennessee line, and again into the area tomorrow, that threat goes back up to our north and east, and that is where we see an increased threat from the Tennessee-Kentucky line all the way across the Ohio River Valley to our north. We see less of a threat here, but then as we get into around day 3, that threat reasserts itself, coming back down this direction. That, again, as we go into Friday. And then on Saturday, we see an uptick in the potential of flash flooding for northeast Tennessee. Now, most of that just outside the News 12 viewing area, but that sticks around as we go from Saturday into Sunday. So there will be more potential of flash flooding out there in the course of the next several days. So please remember, water-covered roadways, don't drive through them. You have no idea if there's debris floating underneath the surface. You don't even know if the roadway is there, if the water is deep enough, if it's swept the roadway away. You drive into that thinking, oh, this is no problem, it's only a little bit deep. That could be the last mistake that you ever make. So please find another way to get to where you're going and stay out of those areas as we see that potential of very heavy rainfall from some of these storms. And it looks like for the next couple of days, we are going to be seeing heavier chances of rain into late July, early August, and then we also pick up that potential of heavy rainfall sticking around for the next few months into the rest of the summer season. Getting potential of heavy rainfall out there, not good news, and we'll be watching that again very carefully here at News 12. So keep it tuned there for more on the latest for that. Let's take a look right now at our 7-day forecast and give you an idea as to what's going on there. We're looking at mainly clear skies on our Island Cove Marina and Resort camera on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. Lake Chickamauga looking back toward the west, and again seeing a few stars and hopefully planets out there as well. International Space Station was not visible tonight, unfortunately, but the planet Mercury was hopefully visible to some in that post-sunset glare out there. Looks like some lightning back to the north of us. So let's turn the camera around and see if we see anything there. Again, through the next several days, wish we could say there's going to be anything in the way of change. That's not happening anytime soon. Numbers may fluctuate fluctuate a little bit up and down, but we continue again to see best potential of rainfall out there sticking around for the next several days. Heat, humidity, and plenty of it. So if you have any plans to be outdoors, this is the time of the year when we see, again, outdoor activities from Vacation Bible School. We also have outdoor athletic practices before we hit 2 days. That again, okay, getting some really good lightning here. Looking back to those storms, I'll have to get a time lapse on this at some point. But in the meantime, we are seeing again some pretty hot and steamy conditions over the course of the next couple of days. So not seeing much of anything that's going to help us out in the way of cooler weather. So anybody who's got outdoor activities planned, heavy rain from thunderstorms in general, lightning out there. You see lightning, you hear thunder, time to wrap it up and get back indoors again. You're going to have very hot and humid conditions out there. So heat indexes will be pushing the danger category for the heat advisories, 105 degrees plus. So please keep that in mind. So outdoor activities are really going to have to be weather aware over the next several days. Again, a look right now through World Chess Day coming up on Sunday, July 20th. Great opportunity to learn about chess and enjoy a new game. Get your kids involved with it. It's a fantastically easy game to learn, but again, some people are afraid of it for what reason, I don't know. It's very fun. I'm available on chess.com and lichess.org, but in the meantime, again, no change coming up anytime soon, it looks like, for right now. Just take a look at the northern horizon, and we are picking up again some beautiful amounts of lightning from those storms we showed you on radar just a few minutes ago. So this, again, a beautiful shot from Island Cove Marina and Resort, and this, again, available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network if you'd like to take a look at that at some point in time. If you're going to be going outdoors again into this weekend, this would be a very nice opportunity to make certain that you are ready to go when it comes to anything involving playing chess. It's a beautiful day for it if you can find an air conditioning shady spot. Again, my ham radio call sign is my ID on chess.com and lichess.org. Would love to play a game if you're on there. I am no grandmaster, that's for certain, but I do know my way around a chessboard. Can't guarantee that all of it will be fun, unfortunately, because, like I said, I need a lot more practice. But hot and humid with some showers and thunderstorms coming up as we go into this Sunday. So please, again, drop by and offer up a game. And if I'm online, I'll be glad to take you up on that. Think that should just about do it. Let me get one more thing in here before we sign off for tonight. And this is very important. A lot of people will laugh at this, and I'm sorry to hear that. But again, for tonight, this is something to really think about. If you live in and around this area and you would love to learn more about amateur radio, if you would like to know about emergency communications or just learning communications using an antenna, a power supply, and a tuner, whether it's local or around the world or to the International Space Station, amateur radio is a great hobby. And a lot of people say, and I don't know why they do this until it's too late, but they basically say, what do I have to worry about amateur radio for? I have one of these, so I have nothing to worry about. Amateur radio is a dying hobby anyway. Well, that's true up to a point until a hurricane comes in or an earthquake happens or, God forbid, a large-scale terrorist attack of some sort, and you have no ability to use this to call your local pizza joint to get a pizza delivered to your house in 30 minutes or less when absolute confusion and chaos is ruling outside. Again, that's not borrowing trouble. That's not trying to scare anybody. That right there is why amateur radio operators practice for disasters and learn about communications, electrical safety, the legal ramifications of communicating between other countries. It's a great hobby. And locally, starting next Thursday, the Cleveland Amateur Radio Club will be conducting a seminar going for 6 weeks. Totally free to attend on here. There are 3 levels of amateur radio license, and the first one is called the technician license. That will get you the ability to talk on one of these things. This is just one computer model. This was a fairly state-of-the-art Kenwood, maybe about 20 years ago, but I can use this to listen in on amateur radio conversations around the Tennessee River Valley area through what are called repeaters and all sorts of other modes out there. If you'd like to get your license and learn how to use one of these pieces of equipment, there are plenty of people who will help you. And again, if you'd like to know more, head to CARC.cc for the Cleveland Amateur Radio Club, Cleveland, Tennessee. They will be, teaching this course starting next week, Thursday, July 24th, and going Thursdays 6 to 8 p.m. after that for, again, a 6-week period. This is yes, I am an amateur radio operator. I have had my license now for 25 years. Has it been that long? February of 2000 from the Delta Amateur Radio Club in Bartlett, Tennessee. Thanks to Tom Richardson, K4TTA, for inviting me to talk about this and to get my license. This is a really great hobby to have because if and when something goes horribly, disastrously wrong, this is something where you can step in and help. A lot of people think that amateur radio operators are nothing but basement-dwelling geeks and geekettes who do nothing but fiddle around with wires and homebrew projects and stuff like that. Nothing can be further from the truth. These are community-minded individuals who love to help out and just like to make communication, like to talk over the distances, no matter, again, if it's on the other side of town or on the other side of the world. This is a great hobby. And like the catchphrase says from the American Radio Relay League, when all else fails, amateur radio works. This is a just absolutely true situation that if and when the power goes out and communications are disrupted through whatever happens, this is something that may come in very handy at some point. So if you're in this area and would like to take part in this and get your amateur radio license, this is a great opportunity to do so. Again, CARC.cc, and you can find out more and reserve your information through, again, the Amateur Radio Club of Cleveland, Tennessee. So please consider becoming an amateur radio operator. That would really help out on there. The average age of an amateur radio operator is about 62 years old, so a little bit of new blood in there would not be such a bad thing. So again, please consider becoming an amateur radio operator if you would be so kind on that. All right, that should do it for tonight. We've been on for a little bit longer than I anticipated. We'll be, again, posting the replay on here to our website, wdef.com. If you'd like to know more, again, all you have to do is just head to our website for more, wdef.com/weather. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on all of these social media pages, not on Facebook, barely on Twitter because Twitter/X, save us from that moniker, is a dumpster fire, and I really don't like being on there any more than I have to. Facebook threw me off because somebody tried to hack my Facebook account, and I cannot get back on because Mr. Zuckerberg's help desk, which isn't much of a help, is not doing anything to help me to get my account restored. Thank you very much, Mr. Zuckerberg. You figure with a couple of extra $1 billion, he would be able to get and maintain a good help desk at some point in time to make certain this type of thing doesn't happen. But there we are. In the meantime, this is what we're looking at again for tonight. So if you have any questions, email address at the bottom portion of your screen. You can find out more again at aonic@wdef.com. That's my email address. Again, the News 12 Studios in downtown Chattanooga. Would love to hear from you and to see, again, what you're seeing out there. Give us your pictures, give us your weather updates, give us everything you possibly can. We can't do this communication with the public without you, so please keep that in mind and help us to help the community. If you got story ideas, you got weather pictures, dog walking pictures, anything like that, we'd love to see what you're seeing out there, so please send those along to us. That should do it for tonight. We'll go ahead and call things off for now. Just want to test this and make certain it's working. And again, we'll give you an update on the forecast coming up tonight on News 12 at 11. Chip Chapman's got your forecast bright and early in the morning. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick. Thanks for joining us for this test edition of Weather Overtime for Peak of the Week Wednesday, July 16th, 2025. We'll send you back to your regular Wednesday evening activities. And again, keep up to date with us at wdef.com/